On this late night, dark and bleak, I remember, but do not speak, of the horrors I found, but did not seek, under the reign of he who rules. It began when I was a lad, in such ignorance I was clad, growing absolutely mad at being cast among society's fools. Desperation drove me to drink, not long after, to the brink of what madness, one must think, makes many a weak man drool. On a fateful afternoon, a knocking came upon my door. 'Twas a very zealous rapping upon my residence's shore. Little did I know, this would guarantee that no more would I be the bottle's tool. I granted them access to my small, humble abode. I would not have let them in if I knew then the horror of what they showed. The source of lamentation, aberration, and much woe, wound up in a wretched spool. "Sir," said a hooded group of them, "we bid thee with good grace, a revelation we wish to show upon your seemingly weary face. Pray join us, sir, if you can keep up with our pace." Such kind words agitated a response so cruel. "But on this night," said I, "what do I have to gain? By following your promised pleasure, will I find any pain? And even with no loss, will I discover in me disdain? Such profound bitterness pooled." "No, sir," said one among them, "'tis salvation that we give. The gracious god Cthulhu does bid us all to live. Our words are that of honesty, we do swear positive." Into their twisted circle they had me rightly pulled. "You've sold me," I confessed at last. "With you all I will embark. We must be going promptly, as the day will soon turn dark. The horrors of the nocturnal city are very real and stark." And we rode towards the forest as the maritime air cooled. We reached our destination, a densely foliaged wood. A fire burned in a clearing, and around the pit there stood more mysterious men I sincerely thought could bring me religion's dazzling jewels. One among them, I soon noticed, was not quite like the rest, a younger maiden, 15 or 20, whose fiery red hair looked of zest, stood just outside the crowd, with a medallion upon her breast, with an aura of intelligence, as if she had been schooled. Just as I meant to approach her, a silence fell upon the crowd. They took the girl by force, her screams ringing ever so loud, and they tied her to a board. All the while I thought, how'd they find such a poor girl to cajole? No later this thought passed me than a shadow did descend, bringing a sense of fear that my courage could not defend. The robed men were calm, but I could not pretend, 'cause I was scared, but not a fool. With bat-like wings and writhing tentacles, a story-tall vampiric beast, I thought would give this poor young dame, at the very least, a quickened death and a minimal suffering after she deceased, at the clawed and ruthless hands of such a rotten ghoul. The damned monstrosity approached her, and with a roaring cry, tore her limb from limb and eviscerated her bone dry. He drank and feasted upon her flesh, until the blood did pool. My eyes bore all they could, and from these men I ran. Even to this dreary night, upon me no peace will land. Seeing his frightening authority, I say this as I know I can. The one they call Cthulhu is truly he who rules.